believe I'm making this video. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys so much for being here today and clicking on today's video. As you guys probably can tell by the title or in the description, I have had a miscarriage. Now, I wanted to kind of talk to you guys about it because the whole purpose of me making this YouTube channel was to let you guys into my life and ultimately for me to have an outlet for myself to talk about certain things, talk about certain situations. And could I keep it private? Of course I can. I could totally keep it private, but I feel like it's something that not many people talk about, and I'm going to get into my situation and how everything happened and how everything went down. And I just feel like when people say miscarriage, you know, ultimately they think like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm making this video because I want to let you guys in on what's been going on, and I don't want this video to seem like a pity, like I'm throwing a pity party for myself, or, you know, I don't want any of you guys to feel like you need to, like, I'm not trying to get sympathy from this video. I'm just telling you guys what's been going on and how I've been coping with things. And so I'm gonna start off with the beginning. So I'm gonna insert some clips for you guys from a couple weeks ago and we'll talk about it. What's going on, guys? So I don't want to go grab my camera because it's in the living room and I don't want Greg to get suspicious. But the last couple days I've been feeling like, like obviously, I don't know. So I just took, okay, so I'm gonna keep it really short. I just took a pregnancy test because I'm like 2 days late. And normally I like to wait 3 days to see if something will happen. But last pregnancy with Elena, I had like absolutely no symptoms. The only thing I did realize, like, after I found out I was pregnant is like was really tired around a certain time in the afternoon every day. But with her now, it's kind of hard to tell. So it's like 2 days late. And I woke up this morning and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna check and see. So I just took one. I haven't looked at it. It's right here. I have it turned towards me, so I haven't seen it. I'm trying to talk really quiet so he doesn't hear me. Okay, it said it's not, but I wanted to make sure just in case. Okay, obviously I'm not sad. I wasn't trying to get my hopes up or anything. It's just weird that it's like a couple days late. Well, it's only 2 days late, but I wanted to take one just in case to make sure, because I was like, my boobs were hurting the other day and I felt like super bloated, and I kept like eating like constantly, kept snacking on everything. So it says no, so we'll see in like a couple days or today if it shows up. So we'll see if my period shows up, but I'll keep you guys posted. I'm rambling. So, okay. Yes. You guys see those? Okay. If you guys saw in this previous clip, right before normally I'm really like on time with my periods. 3 days is max. This last time it was 4 days. Then I got my period. So it's been, normally I only get it for like 5 days, maybe 6. It's been 8. So I got it last Sunday, and it's Sunday now, it's Easter. So I took one when I got home because I was curious. I'm like, okay, I've been like spotting like it's like every time I wipe, it's like pink. But it's nothing like too crazy to like put a tampon or anything like that. So I took one. Here, I'm gonna go get it. So I took one when we got home, and immediately, if you guys can, there's like a line there, right? Okay. And I'm like, no way, that's not possible. And then I'm like reading, like, Lily, did you, I just got Elena these toys for Easter. Lily, oh my God. Sorry. I didn't even notice. Get out of here. I didn't even notice that when we got home. Anyway, so I took that. I ran to the store really quick and I got more. Now, mind you, this happened the first time, not the whole like negative test first and then pregnancy test afterwards. I like took a test, didn't believe it, ran to the store, bought more, and it was like boom, 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 like positive, pregnant. So I just peed on both of these. Now I'll probably take another one in the morning, and I want to go to the doctor to make sure, because if I'm still like have this like light spotting, I want to go get it checked out just in case, because I know there's like implantation bleeding, but I wanted to make sure. So I haven't looked at both of these. The first one was like immediately like, and I didn't even pee on it for that long, and it was like trickle, 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 and it's like, oh, pregnant. But okay, so the first response one says pregnant, and then the clear blue one, it has like a really faint line. Like, I don't know if you guys can see it. Like, the line is like super faint on this one, and this one has it too. So I don't know, like maybe I didn't pee on this one long enough, but you see that line there, it's like there. And then this one's like clear as day. So I'm gonna take one in the morning and see. I was also looking up like chemical pregnancy, like, but the thing about that is it's like you're supposed to get like, you miss your period obviously, and then you like take a test that's positive, but then it keeps dwindling down. But mind you, and then there's like the whole like early miscarriage thing, but I never got a positive pregnancy test like before, like when my period was supposed to start, like I like started my period, or like I started bleeding like normal period. So I don't know, so I can't tell. It's like the line is so faint, but in the other one it's so clear, and in this one it's super clear. So I'm gonna keep these. I'm gonna take one in the morning. The other one of the clear blue is like the one that says like pregnant in it. If it does say it, I'll try to make an appointment tomorrow to go to the doctor to get blood work done to see. I know they were saying, like, I was reading, I'm not trying to read up so much into it to where I'm like freaking myself out, but it was saying like, oh, if you get pregnancy tests that like are super clear but they dwindle down, you're having like an early miscarriage, or like a chemical pregnancy, which is like pretty much like an early miscarriage, but you normally miss your period, which I didn't, and it's like still kind of lightly going. So we'll see. Like I said in the last video, if it doesn't happen, I'm not discouraged, I'm not sad about it. You know, we are trying. I have Elena, she's beautiful. I can wait till however long it takes to get pregnant again. But if it is, holy crap, that was like the first try. So we'll see. I won't probably post this for a while just because I want to make sure everything's good, I'm okay. So we'll see what happens in the morning with like fresh pee. So it is 11:25 and I woke up this morning, took a pregnancy test again, and I did this one and I did a digital one, but I did the digital one wrong. I think I peed on it too much because then it didn't show up, and then but this one said yes, like the one last night. So I just ran to the store really quick right now, and instead of peeing on it this time, I put it in a cup, and I saw the little lines pop up, or like the little like thing where it reads it. I put it back in here. I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow in the morning to get blood work done to make sure. Oh, I didn't do this one last time. That's just so weird. So like, I mean, I'm excited. We were gonna do 6 months and then try again, and then I told Greg after the wedding we try again. And literally it's only been a month, not even a month. So it's our first month trying. So I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow at 9:30 to get blood work done to really make sure, because I was telling them like it's weird, like I took it, I'm not having like any pregnancy symptoms. Like I felt like I had them like right before my period, but then it's again, I was like right before my period, my boobs always start to hurt a little bit. I get really bloated. But since then, nothing. So I don't normally get, I'm a very emotional person, and I'm so excited that this is that this said, oh, you guys can't even, oh my God. I'm just like, I want to cry, but I feel like I'm gonna cry. Well, so the reason why I was hoping to get it in, I'm like rambling. Was hoping to get in today so I can go get it done and I can get stuff ready for when Greg comes home tomorrow. But I'll have time tomorrow because my appointment's at 9:30, and I should have time to go get like little things for him. You guys, I'm so excited. And if all of this is correct, like I just did, like when the due date is, we might have a Christmas baby. It said December 22nd is like your due date, or December 20th, something like that. So we might have a Christmas baby. Oh my God, that's insane. That's crazy. I mean, it's gonna suck because I'm gonna be pregnant all throughout summer, and Texas gets fucking hot. So you guys, I keep looking at this, and then it's gonna be a big sister. We thought that like when she, like right before she was born, it took like 7 months, and it was like in the very beginning it was like very discouraging that it wasn't happening, and then like the first 3 months I was just like so not depressed, but I was very like lack of motivation. I was avoiding Greg. You know, I just didn't want to do anything. And I told myself, like, after that 3 months, like, stop looking at the calendar and stop tracking everything, and it'll happen, and then out of the blue it happened. And granted, like, we've literally only tried one or two times, and I wasn't having any expectations. I wasn't, you know, I told myself, like, once we start trying again, I won't get myself all worked up and stressed out about like all of like the whole process. And so like when I took those pregnancy tests before my period, it was like negative. I'm like, okay, that's awesome. Like, you know, I'm not awesome, but like, you know, oh, this it may take the same amount of time as it did with Elena, so I'm okay with it. And it's just crazy. So when I go tomorrow to the doctor, hopefully, because they can like, I'm hoping they can do like a full breakdown of like all my levels and like really tell me like, okay, you're good, you're clear, you know, and that like that was implantation bleeding, like it was nothing to worry about. So, oh my God, this is crazy. Like, it's crazy because like one of our really good friends, Gary and Deanne, they're pregnant. She's like out of her first trimester. She might be, once I upload this video, she might be like halfway through her pregnancy by this point. They're due in October. Greg's cousin just announced that they're having their baby and they're due in the beginning of October. And if this goes all well, we'll be having our second one in the end of December. Oh my goodness. Guys, y'all see that? This is crazy. I have to hide all these. Oh my God. Okay. I'll try to update you guys tomorrow after I get back from the doctors. Okay. I'll see you later. Okay. So I went to the doctor this morning and I took a blood test. I'm waiting for the blood test to come back to confirm everything's okay. I peed for them and they said I was pregnant. So blood test is gonna like test my liver, because a couple months ago my liver was like doing all kinds of crazy things, like before I got my gallbladder removed. Anyway, I made an appointment with my doctor, my gynecologist, next Wednesday to make sure that everything's good. They're gonna stick that thing up there and like really check to make sure it's not like a ectopic pregnancy, or like just make sure everything's okay. So I just watched back all those videos, and they're kind of hard to watch just because you see the emotion, you see all the happiness, you see like the raw emotions of everything, from having like a negative pregnancy test to a positive one. But the weird part was about the beginning of that. I was supposed to start my period on April 11th or 12th, and I didn't get it till the 14th or 15th of April. But it wasn't like a normal period, which threw me off. It wasn't heavy. It was on the light. Like there was maybe one day where it was like slightly like medium, I guess. And the rest were pretty light. So it kind of threw me off that it wasn't like a full on like my normal kind of periods would be. So when Easter came around, it was kind of like, what's going on? So that's when I initially took the test and it came out positive, and I'm just like, you know, just shocked pretty much. From the first doctor's appointment, I just went in for a blood test to confirm my pregnancy. All they did was just say yes or no, and that was it. And then of course I peed in a cup. I just did a urine test and that came out positive as well. I went to my first ultrasound that following Wednesday with my OB, and they used a little like probe thing, and everything was good. Now, when we were in there, that Wednesday I was still spotting. It was really light. It was a little bit more pink than it was a couple days prior to that. So the first ultrasound that we went to, he stuck the probe up there, and the nurse was asking a bunch of questions, and she made me do a urine sample to do like a pregnancy test, and of course the urine sample came up positive. And so he did the probe thing, and she's like, did you say that you had an abnormal period in April or in March? And I was like, no, April, like just the last 2 weeks. And she's like, okay, well, based off of what you're saying, you should be like 2 weeks and a couple days. And then she's like, well, let's just put down your like 5 weeks or 6, whatever it was, 6 or 6, 5 or 6. It was like 5 or 6 weeks. So when he looked, there was like a tiny little circle on the screen, and it looked like the size of like a pea or like a dime or a nickel. So there was something there, but it was small, but it was super, super small. So our doctor pretty much just said, well, there's something there. Come back for a follow-up. I want you to do some blood work today to check your HGC levels. That's the pregnancy hormone, which goes up in it. HGC is a pregnancy hormone that causes a urine test, or, you know, causes the pregnancy symptoms. So I did the one, and then he wanted me to, that was on Wednesday, and then I went back on Monday for a follow-up to test for the same thing, but no ultrasound. So I got an ultrasound picture. I don't know where it went, to be honest, but I mean, clearly you can't really see anything. It's literally like super tiny. And I was like, okay, that's great. Literally that Thursday, I stopped bleeding completely. So I'm like, okay, maybe, because in what I've been reading and what our doctor told us is like, some women bleed through pregnancies. It can happen throughout their whole entire pregnancy. It can happen for the first 13 weeks. There's no rhyme or reason. It just happens, and there's no clear explanation as to why you spot during pregnancy. You just do. They just don't know why. So I'm like, okay, well, it stopped. That's great. Now, mind you, I hadn't had any pain. Of course, my back hurt at certain points throughout the couple weeks, and that's not anything normal. My lower back normally hurts anyway. I tried not to read into too much stuff when it came to like miscarriages and pregnancy and this and that, and you know, because some people, I know, like that could be a very vicious thing where you're constantly looking at stuff and it's making you even more stressed out. So I tried not to. Even Greg was like, don't look at that stuff, like it'll be fine, just be optimistic. Greg was, you know, really there for me, trying to, you know, encouraging me to not think about it so much, but it's hard. I mean, it's your own body. You want to know what's going on. You want to figure out what's wrong, and I wanted to know, and I wanted answers, and I knew that you have to wait for things like that. So Monday came around, took the blood test, and then by that Wednesday, me and Greg ended up having sex Wednesday, and everything was okay. And then I woke up Thursday morning, and I went to go to the restroom. I peed, and there was this, like, if you're a woman, you kind of know that feeling where like you feel like something's coming out. That's what it felt like. It felt like a period feeling. So I went to the restroom and look in the bottom of the toilet, and there's this like huge like blood clot, like massive. And I'm like, okay, one, I've never had one look that big ever. And I'm just like, okay. And after that is when I started to have more of like a heavy period color and flow. It wasn't like heavy, it was still like medium. But I had no pain, no cramps. I don't ever get cramps when I'm on my period anyway, so it's hard to tell. I had no cramps, no pain. So I'm like, okay. And then by that Thursday, I still hadn't heard anything from the doctor about my lab results that I had taken previously. And by that afternoon, I was like really in my head. I was like looking at everything, and I was trying to stay optimistic, but I'm like, now mind you, from the first ultrasound till like now, even before, I had this hint, obviously, as you can tell in the videos, that I might be having a miscarriage, or like a chemical pregnancy, or an early miscarriage. There was a part of me that kind of knew or had a feeling that this was going to happen, but I was trying to stay optimistic. I was trying to stay positive, because you just don't ever know, because your body can do crazy things. So it was still kind of heavy, and then I called the doctor's office. It was about like 3 or 4, and I called them up. I was like, hey, I took some labs, I haven't heard back, I just wanted to know what the results were. She's like, well, let me get a hold of your doctor and I'll call you back. Get a call back, and the nurse on the phone goes, hey, so your doctor told us that your levels are significantly dropping. And I was like, well, okay, I kind of figured that only because I woke up this morning and I'm having period symptoms, like period, like blood, pretty much. And she's like, okay. She's like, well, your doctor wants to do a follow-up with you. So we scheduled that one for, let's see, what's today? The 22nd. We went last week, the 15th. May 15th is when I had my last one. And what we did an ultrasound. So scheduled an appointment on May 15th and go to the appointment, and they made me, you know, take a urine sample. They did another ultrasound, and on the ultrasound, pretty much there was nothing there. So we went into the doctor's appointment. He did the ultrasound and he was looking at everything. He came in and he's like, hey, I just wanted to tell you, like, you know, your levels weren't that high when you got your first blood draw, and then they dropped significantly with your second one. And he's like, what you probably had was a chemical pregnancy. Now I'm gonna read you what a chemical pregnancy is, like the definition of a chemical pregnancy. It says, chemical pregnancy is a term used to describe a very early miscarriage, which occurs before the 5th week of gestation and well before the fetus can be visibly detected on an ultrasound. Chemical pregnancy is believed to affect as many as 75% of pregnancies that end in miscarriage. If I would have never tested, I probably would have never known that I was pregnant, and I probably would have thought that it was just a normal funky period, or thinking of it as like it could have been worse. I could have gotten to 8 weeks, did the first ultrasound, saw heartbeat, saw something that was there, and then it would have been a lot harder to handle. I'm not saying it's hard now. It's still hard because I took a pregnancy test, it's positive, and you get, like you saw, you get your hopes up and you hope everything's okay and everything is good. But I still had this thing in the back of my mind knowing that something was not right, something was wrong, and something was, you know, I just needed answers. So when we got done while we were in the doctor's office, he even said, he's like, think of it this way. He's like, I'm not saying it's easy. It's still hard. It's still emotional because you go through this whole process and it ends up turning like this. He's like, think of it this way. You know, it was only, you're probably only like 3 or 4 weeks along. It was enough to turn a the hormones were enough to turn a pregnancy test positive. He's like, but it would be a lot harder to swallow and handle if you had missed your period, gotten an ultrasound, saw a heartbeat, saw the baby fully there forming, and then, you know, losing it. It's a lot more emotionally, it's a lot harder emotionally. This has never happened to me before, so it's a new feeling for me. I coped with it pretty easily just because I know that, like he was saying, like there was nothing there. It's still hard because, you know, you hope and you wish, but it's easy for me to cope with now. I just wanted to, you know, speak on it and say something because I feel like even with little miscarriages like this, I mean, some people are gonna say your miscarriage is, it's not a miscarriage, or it's not even in the same category as this one or this one. A miscarriage is a miscarriage in my eyes, no matter if it was 1 week, 2 weeks, 10 weeks, 25, any kind of week. It doesn't matter. It's still technically considered a miscarriage because you lost something. But it's one of those things where it's like no one ever really speaks on it or talks about it because they're scared. And I feel like you shouldn't be scared to talk about it because you're not alone. There are other people who have probably gone through the same thing you have. It's just knowing who those people are and connecting with them and reaching out to them and asking their story and what goes on, or how they coped with certain things and what their story is. And I feel like it's a discussion we should have more often and talk about, because even if it is something small or something big, it's that community. You need that support. You need that that hand to hold, or that shoulder to cry on or lean to, or someone to talk to who can relate to you, versus someone who hasn't gone through the same thing or may get it, but it's a different kind of, there's a disconnect there. I hope this video helps someone with what they're going through, and I hope this encourages someone to reach out and not to be scared, and to ask for a hand, or ask for you know, just someone to talk to, and, you know, relate their story, and know that they're not alone, and they're in the same boat as me, or the same boat as someone else whose situation is completely different. But I wanted to talk about it because I think it's important to talk about these things, and they are important. It's in the day that we live in now, it might come down to where we don't even have any control over our own bodies, and that's insane to think about it. It's hard to think about that can possibly happen to my own daughter, who may not even have a choice into what happens to her own body. It's crazy. I mean, I know that it's a completely different situation, but still, it's things that we need to talk about. And yeah, so I'm just hoping that whoever is watching this video got something out of it. And just, if it is happening to you, you've had something like this, or a situation like mine, or even worse, just stay positive. Know that there are people, I hope you have people around you that support you and uplift you and make you smile and give you encouragement and wise words. And just know that everything's going to be okay, and you are still loved, and you are not a broken person. Just because this happens to you doesn't mean you're not less than the other woman, because you can't bear a child, or you know, just know that you are worthy, and you mean something, and you can do it. Just stay positive, and I hope you guys have an amazing day. Thank you for watching this video. I love you guys to the moon and back. I will see you guys next time.